course I have regrets. It was not my finest day. It was not my finest performance. And I lost control. I was annoyed. And I allowed my anger to becloud my better judgment. And I did it in a way that, at that point, I really didn't care who was listening. If you remember, I said, look, let the cameras be rolling. I just don't care. Nobody, no leader should get to that point. And it was, I disappointed myself, my family. I disappointed my friends, my leaders, those that brought me into, or really trained me and brought me into the public limelight and into public office, like President Obasanjo and so many others who I revere. I disappointed myself, so I deeply regret it. Nobody at any time should react in such a way. But you know, it happens to us from time to time, especially when you've been on the road for what, 2.5 weeks. At that time it was about 1.5 weeks, I don't know what it was, I've forgotten. And we did 8 hours with the governor. I don't know where these people get this energy. I don't know where Ayade gets his energy from, because he was out the following day again. But I was tired. It was a tough time. We've been on the road. And the gentleman concerned said something which touched me and hurt me. And I felt deeply insulted, genuinely so, deeply insulted. I also felt threatened. I also felt dehumanized almost, because he didn't ask a question. And I'm not here to point any fingers at anybody. As far as I'm concerned, I put this matter behind me. But he didn't ask a question. A question was asked of me just now about the issue of funding. That's not what happened. And I won't go into all that now, but he only made one statement. And the statement that he made was, well, we do not know who is bankrolling you to do all this. That is what he said to me. This was disrespectful, it was unacceptable, and it was an attempt to provoke me. And of course, I fell for it. And I'm usually smarter than that. I should have smiled, said something, and moved on. But I lost it. And my response was disproportionate and unacceptable. And this is precisely why I've expressed my regrets. Not just to the NUJ, not just to my friends and colleagues. I had to apologize to my family members. I had to apologize to everybody. And I will continue to apologize for that, because it's indefensible. I also reach out in love to the young man concerned, who said he's a bishop of Olumba. I reached out to him in love, and I hope he apologized to me immediately. He also attempted to see me afterwards to apologize again. His colleagues that were all there apologized to me and told him that what he did was wrong, because they witnessed it. So for me, the matter is closed, and I'm also taking this opportunity to reach out to him and to apologize to him personally too for being so harsh, for being so tough. It's not easy for me to say this today. It's not easy for me to speak like this. But in my view, it takes courage to take full responsibility for your actions and make it clear that, look, on this one I was wrong. You know, there have been 1 or 2 other interviews in which I've flared up. But if I've done 1,000 interviews, well over that, ever since I joined politics, I've been in this game for many, many years, I tell you, since 1990. And I've done thousands of interviews. If I made a slip up, or I made a mistake, or I lost it, maybe 5 times in that period with journalists, that does not mean to say I'm an enemy of journalists. I'm a friend of the journalists. I'm a friend of those of you that I've worked with for so many years. And I speak out when governments come after you. When the young man who, I've forgotten his name, from Premium Times was locked up by this government, I was the first to speak out. When Shuri of Sahara Reporters was arrested, I spoke out and I worked hard behind the scenes to see how we could get him out. Sahara Reporters is not my best friend. They've attacked me many times over the years, in a very, very vicious way, I might add. Not just me, family members of mine too, but it didn't matter to me. When Baguda Kalto, one of your colleagues, late colleagues, was murdered during the time of Nadeko, I spoke out. I constantly and consistently speak out against injustice and the violence of governments that are illegitimate and tyrannical. I am the voice of the voiceless. I am the one that stands for those that are too weak to speak for themselves. I've been to all the communities, not all, but most of the communities in the north, where people have been slaughtered like flies. Not many of our leaders have done that. I've visited these communities. I've spoken so many times in areas in the north, particularly in the Christian areas, because I happen to be a Christian, but I'm also doing that in Muslim areas as well now, having been to Zamfara and Sokoto, where people are slaughtered like flies. I've spoken against the herdsmen. I've spoken against Boko Haram. I've spoken against the killing of IPOB members. I've spoken against the oppression of the oppressed. That's me. That is me. And I will continue to do that. And so, to those I offended that day, again, I say it once again. I convey my apologies. I say it again now. I lost it. And I should be more guided next time, even in the face of provocation. One will now know that sometimes these things are traps in order to make you slip. And what pained me the most, if I might just add this, CPS, is this, that everything I discussed and I said at that conference about the good work of the state governor, and it really was impressive with limited resources, nobody spoke about that anymore. It was all about FFK's mistake, and nobody spoke about the positive things. And I have myself to blame for that. So in my view, I probably failed the state, I probably failed the governor, and I apologize to them too, because what they have been doing and trying to do over there was something that we also focused on. All right? So I regret it deeply, and by God's grace, it will never happen again. And by the way, I should add this. I will be anyway. Let me not add that one. I'll do it by surprise. Thank you very much.